Yeah.
So we started Shalom Zayin last week. Now what Shalom Zayin see base. So last week we basically spoke about Sif Aleph, Merfer, Davish, and Meschaven, and Psikresha. We didn't get into the Chayrish issue. So here the Mishnah Berurah has Akdama. It's important to see to the Siman. Speaks about Chayrish. So we look in the Mishnah Berurah over here before the Siman. There's a little bit of Akdama. Akdama with Siman, Zeh Akdama Kitzon. I'll give a small Akdama for the Siman. Vihi. Chayrish hu echad malamet tes malachas. Chayrish is if you plow a field, is one of the 39 malachas of Shabbos. The kivitz hakavanas hachayrish v'rafuyei ara. Since the intent of the person who's plowing is to weaken the ground, the oz toiv l'zriya, then it's easy to plant. So chayrish is preparing the land for planting. V'gam kavanot lahashbois agumois u'liafoisai. He has in mind to straighten out the holes and the holes in the ground to fill them. If there's little mountains, takes it away. Someone who digs in the field and makes a little indentation. There's a little pile. And he takes it away. There was a low place for his voice and he made it smooth. Anybody who makes a place where it's possible to plant smooth is chayiv mishum chayrish. So the house is called boina because it's fixing the house. Who told us chayiv v'chayiv b'cholshu and yechayiv with a kosher. So that's basically the akdama of the Mishnah Berurah. He says that any time you smoothen out dirt or earth on the ground, yechayiv mishum chayiv. Now you may have no intention of planting. Doesn't make a difference. If it's possible to plant in that area, then it's also mishum chayiv.
So if you're, let's say out in the country or in a bungalow cottage, and you go sometimes through these paths to get from the cottage to the base of Medish or whatever.
Right.
So there's a path that people walk on.
Right.
So just by walking, the Maraka,
So walking is not a problem.
Because?
Walking is not a problem because, first of all, it's not psikresha. If you're sure you're going to be miyata the karka, you're not. Stepping there, patting down karka is not chayrish. Patting down earth.
You are going to be
rapid. That's going to be rapid. You're stepping there, that's going to be rapid. You may even be pushing it together harder when you step down it. I mean, there was a big issue with the carriages. People push carriages and the wheels and make indentations. That's not called chayrish. Pushing down earth is not called chayrish. Digging a hole or filling a hole is called chayrish. But just pressing down, patting down earth is not a problem of chayrish.
So when we get to Dalit, it talks about the heavy barrel that you turn sideways and roll it. Isn't that pressing down?
No, but there you make a hole in it. There the chayrish that you end up being mashvei gumois.
There's a kibbutzim kaveda yavel hashbos.
You end up digging into the ground.
So digging is opposed to pressing.
Right, digging is worse than pressing.
Okay.
So that's like dumber for the Seif.
So the stroller is a shiloh or not?
The stroller is not a problem. To push the stroller, which is patting down, is not a problem. Patting it down is not the issue.
When it goes through, it's like going through it creates a furrow.
No, but it's not digging. If you slap the stroller, you're right. If you slap it and it makes a charetz, then you're right. But most times it's wheels.
Right.
And the wheels are just patting it down. Patting down, the person says, is not a problem.
Would it maybe be enough, you mean, when, if it's like right after it's rained versus...
No, they say patting down is not a problem. That's what the person would say.
It doesn't matter if it's a very heavy baby inside? Or
It makes a difference. There's no difference, because it's patting it down. It's not
the brakes were on, and you pushed it, you should talk about.
What?
The brakes were on,
right,
and you pushed it.
If you push it and you're making charut in the ground, that could be a problem. If you push it and and the brakes are on, and you push it, you slap it in this thing, and you're making a charut, that could be a problem. Because then you're digging.
But the same charut that's made by a rolling wheel.
Right, so that's patting down. It's not a charut. You're not removing dirt from the area. There's a difference. You're not removing dirt from that area. You're patting down the earth in that area. The whole is to remove the dirt. So how do you remove the dirt? Either by picking something again and slapping it, so you're digging and you're pulling earth with you, or by putting the earth back into the hole. One of those two things. Patting down, the person says, is not called chayrish. Yeah, if you stop a carriage, then it could be problem chayrish. It's making holes in the ground. So this is even if you don't have a mind to be chayrish. If you're never going to plant there, or if it has to be a mokam haro'il-esrei, it has to be a place that it's possible to plant. Once it's possible to plant there, you're now going to make a hole or fill a hole. So here's where it covers the shaila of sweeping in the old houses. They used to sweep, and they used to have earth ground. It wasn't like we have tiles and carpets. So, what? Yeah, so that's the problem over here with sweeping. So let's see the Seif base. Also the Chabad Habayis, you're not allowed to sweep out, clean out a house. L-M-K Hakaka Merutzif, only if the ground is tiled. Merutzif means it has tiles or it has wood, and therefore when you're sweeping it, there's no problem with Hashmiyah Gumos. V'yesh matirim afilu einei merutzif. And some people are matir even though it's not merutzif. So what does this mean over here? And then the Ramah says, Hago, v'yesh machmirim afilu b'merutzif. So the Mechaber says, here's a machlokes, if it's tiled, we're going to call merutzif tiled. Easiest way to call it. So the Mechaber says, if it's tiled, you're allowed to sweep. If it's not tiled, one sheet says it's no good. V'yesh matirim afilu b'merutzif. According to the Mechaber's klal, stam v'yesh halacha-theory. So the Mechaber is going to paskin that by merutzif it's mutter to sweep. By einei merutzif it'll be awesome. But the Ramah says v'yesh machmir afilu b'merutzif. Even by a tiled floor, it's also to sweep. V'cheinei hagin v'ein l'shanois. That's the minig, and you should not change the minig. So you read the Ramah, it'll come out, l'chayra. It's also to sweep in our houses. Right? Even by a merutzif it's also. So let's see. Let's see what the heter is. So if you look in the Moreh Avram, Seif cotton beis, also l'chabed, why? The mazes offer removing the earth, umashvei gumois, and you're smoothing out the holes. Mashvei gumois means you're smoothing out the holes. V'yesh matirin, why? The havulei davar she'enim eschavin, it's enim eschavin, and it's not a psik ratio that it's going to happen. Merutzif, v'avonim, v'kolshkim, v'kroshem, then it is mutter according to the Mechaber. So here we have to really see the Moreh Avram. It's very mekatzer here. So we have to see the Mishnah Berurah over here, which is very minor. That's good to see it inside. So the Mishnah Berurah says over here, Seif cotton beis, and Seif cotton vav. So what would be the issur of sweeping? What would be the problem? Why the mazes up from Imkaimai, you're moving the earth from its place? One issur. Gam mashper gumois ichibudai. So the Mishnah Berurah that over here brings two issurim. In the Moreh Avram it's mashma, it's one issur. The Mishnah Berurah brings down two problems. One problem is you're moving the earth from Imkaimai. And the second one is Gam Mashve Hagumois B'Kibudai Shemismalim Hagumois B'Bayis Me'ofar B'Hava Binyan. B'Afa Gav the Ein Mischaven Lashvi Hagumois. You don't have a mind to do it. Afilu Hachi Asa the Psik Reishu. subsequation. So if we look in the Sharatzian, Seif Gimel, a very important Sharatzian, that the reason is because he mazes off from Mimkaimai. Now what's the Isser with being mazes off from Mimkaimai? Two things. One Isser is, it's an Isser of Ashvuya Gumois, and one to Isser, Mishmur says of it, because he mazes off from Mimkaimai. He's moving the earth. What's wrong with that? It says the Sharatzian over here. Tam zeh niske b'tesis b'arash v'oit kama poiskim hanim shochan achareyem v'loi bi'aru devreyem. They didn't explain their words. Ima akavanim b'shom tiltel afar she'eim min hamuchim. Is the issue because you're moving earth? Now earth is muktzah on Shabbos. So when you're sweeping and you're moving the earth, there's an issue tiltel because you're being mazes afar memkaimai, meaning you're being metaltel davar hamuktzah. V'kanitzke zeh b'mordechai v'mechamos perik al-kelem b'suga de machbada shal tomorrow oy mishum asiyas guma aidei chafira. What does it mean? Because you're digging through the sweeping. The gamma zeh like yisur the raisa chabraisa the gamra the any other mishum shvus. By the time ha'enet tzarech like guma you don't need it, so some lachna tzrich l'gufa. Ch'madis b'gemara v'me'agra mashma the akavana mishum tiltal offer. From the Gra's mashma, that Isser is being metaltal dirt. Chem mashma b'mordechai v'ayin b'zerua halacha Shabbos Siman ayin ches v'yir the tavayu isnahu. Both of them are an Isser. Tavayu isnahu means they're both Isser in the hand. So according to this, what's the Isser of sweeping? Besides the ashvuya gumoy, besides that you're smoothing out the holes, you have an Isser of tiltal. What's the Isser of tiltal? When you sweep, you are being metaltal the offer, which is a davar ha-muktzah. So here is a big machlokes in Achronim. Is it takar Isser of total muktzah? This will be more a shayla for us today than a shvuya gumois. Because we don't have a shvuya gumois today. In our houses, we'll see, even according to the Ramah, it says merutzif is also, it's only when there are some merutzif, some not merutzif. But when all are merutzif, there's no gzeira. So Ashvuya total muktzah is the real issue today. So now we'll see in the halacha later on that it depends why you're sweeping. If you're sweeping stuff which is a graf sharei, so it's a heter to move a graf sharei, stuff that's dirty, it's in the way. But if you're sweeping other things that are muktzah, then there's a machlokes here, there's an issue of tiltal. Why? Because we learned in Hilchos Muktzah that a tiltal b'natzad, the tzarech davar ha-heter, to be metaltal something in that tzad, not for the davar ha-muktzah, but for a davar ha-heter, it's mutter. That's mutter. Tiltum and ha-tzad, the tzarech davar ha-heter is mutter. So here when you're sweeping, basically what you're doing is, it's a tiltal min ha-tzad, you're brushing it with the broom, the tzarech davar ha-heter, you're not doing it for the muktzah, you're doing it because you want the room to be clean. So that's called tiltum and atzad the tzarech davar heter. That's a machlokes. I mean, everyone agrees it's mutter. But the problem is the Taz of Hilchos Muktzah.
He is actually moving something.
But
That's more than minatzad.
Yeah. So the Taz said in Hilchos Muktzah. If you remember with the Taz, he spoke about if you use a knife to clear off stuff from the table, is that called tiltum and atzad or not? At the time he said that maybe it's not called tiltum and atzad, because it's called yodai arichta. It's a long hand. Tiltum and atzad is picking up a tray, and there's muktzah on it. It's tiltum and atzad, the tzarech davar muktzah. Tzarech davar heter. I'm doing it because I need to know on the table. One second. That's tiltum and atzad, tzarech davar heter. But when you're moving something with a knife, the task is machmir. He says it's a yodai arichta. It's an extension of your hand, and therefore it's also to do it on Shabbos. Even though it's not the tzarech davar muktzah. But a lot of persons argue the Taz that they say it's not called the yodai arichta, it's called tiltum and atzad. So the Pri Megadim over here says that brushing, using a broom to be metaltal davar hamuktzah, the tzarech davar heter is mutter because it's called tiltum and atzad, the tzarech davar heter. So now, when it comes time to the issue of tiltul muktzah, most of our sweeping doesn't have that issue. Because most of the time we're doing it anyway, we're doing it for a graf sharei. There's dirt on the floor, you don't want the dirt on the floor. It has a din of graf sharei. It bothers you, the dirt's on the floor. And even if it's not a graf sharei, you have the heter of tiltum and atzad, the tzorech davar, a heter, which most poskim are making. So sweeping today at tiltul, the chayra, you don't have to worry about it. So what's the issue? The issue is the really good ones. So you see over here, if you look in the Siman and test in the Mishnah Berurah, right? So the Mechaber says if it's merutzif, it is mutter. Ain't merutzif, it means yes materium, but the Mechaber himself is going to hold as also. So the Gemara says even merutzif is also. Says the Mishnah Berurah over here, afilu merutzif, bein ba'avonim, bein b'kroshim. Say if it's tiled with stone or with pieces of wood. The sweeter way, because the Ramah holds, the be'ein merutzif have a situation. Because we know we make a gzeira merutzif onto einei merutzif. We make a gzeira of merutzif onto einei merutzif. If you sweep by a room that has tiles, you may end up sweeping by a room that doesn't have tiles. But I am the bir halacha. Says the Mishnah Berurah, look at the bir halacha. There's a long bir halacha over here. The bir halacha of yesh machmirim, afilu b'merutzif. Alright, we're just going to start from the beginning. We'll do the first few lines, and the rest is Kedai to see yourself. So it says like this: yesh machmirim afilu b'merutzif. So if you're an Ashkenazi, you learn the Ramah, they come out, we can't sweep in our houses today. I was once standing in the shul after Shabbos, and people going to the Rav to say the Shabbos, and I was behind somebody, and he asked the Rav, there was a mutter to sweep your house on Shabbos. I said, awesome. The Ramah says, awesome. I stand a little bit shocked. I said, the halacha is not to it. I don't want to say anything to the Rav in front of the person, I didn't say anything. But if you learn the Ramah the way it is, it's also any merutzif. But if you look in the Bir halacha, even though it's tiled, it's mutter. I have a Mishnah Berurah that Tam Hu Mishum, because we know merutzif ought to any merutzif. Hu Mesef and Atrumis, Vatiku B'Taz V'Hinei. The Fizeh, in Kol Botei Ya'ir Kaponim Rubam Merutzafim. If most of them, or all of them, are merutzafim b'avonim or b'levanim, or with tiles. After the mutter lechaber the gazu al ruba b'fnei miyuta, v'lo al ir zeh b'fnei ir acheres v'k'mashkasu v'sefer hashumis. Says the Bir halacha that if the whole city has tiled floors, or at least Roiv has tiled floors, there's no gzeira merutzif atum eina merutzif.
Although it's a large efsher.
No, it comes out later on. The efsher is on the ruba. But if the whole city is merutzif, there's no shiloh.
So we were clearing.
This is the link.
We were wondering. So it makes sense. So in the city, if everywhere you are, then you go aliva. So does it become defined by where you're going to be? So if you're in a bungalow colony, or if you are in a camp, then now anymore.
Right, so that's the shayla comes up, right?
So, merutzah, the example.
Right, so that's the shayla comes up. The shayla comes up like this. In our houses today, it's called the whole city is called merutzah, right. Sweeping inside your house. The shayla comes up when you're in the bungalow colonies or in the cottages, where you sit outside on the deck. So most decks are also merutzah. What's the question? You may end up sitting outside and sweep on a place where there's dirt. Now, the truth is, most places where there's dirt, you don't sweep. We don't sweep today in the backyard where there's dirt. I don't think I ever saw somebody come with a broom and start sweeping. But the person do speak about it.
But if your sukkah is on a, you might.
So the sukkah is a second. I'll tell you how the person deal with it. In your house, there's no problem. Even if you're in the mountains, right, in the cottages, in the house itself, they say there's no problem. Why? Because the only gzeira was, if I'm sweeping in my house, which is merutzif, I'll sweep in my friend's house, but it's not merutzif. But if all the houses are merutzif, We don't find in making Zera a house up to a backyard. That we don't see. We don't make Zera a house to a backyard. Houses you're allowed to sweep. So the person will say that today, even if you're in the mountains and you have backyards, in the houses you're allowed to sweep. Because all houses, all cottages, all bungalows are always Merutzif. The question is, when I'm on the porch, when I'm outside. So there's a Shaila. So you make a Gzeira over there, Merutzif, or any Merutzif. I think the question, basically, the Shaila is, how do you look at the porch? Is the porch part of your house? Or is the porch not part of your house?
It's
is the porch
sometimes.
Well, the Raya is
The Rashus outside the house is another Rashus already.
Another Rashus, but the question is we look at it as a house, therefore it's not going to be Gzeira up to any Merutzif.
Sometimes the house is still part of there's no problem carrying from your house.
Yeah, but you don't have to carry. No place, no problem carrying. The question is, you look at it.
No, but even if there wasn't an error, if you carried from your house onto the porch, it's still the same Rashus, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, if it has a fence around it.
Fence around.
Yeah. so then, yeah.
I say sometimes in the country you actually sweep outside, right? You sweep from your house to the outside.
Yeah, but you're not sweeping the outside.
No, but once it's outside already,
you can actually do it. So you fill up the. That's a shot of the question. How you look at a porch. You look at a porch as part of the house, therefore it's mutter, or maybe a porch is not part of the house, and therefore we look at the porch separately. That the porch is but
it's not
is a gzeira. What makes a difference to Shabbat? If you make the gzeira, you don't make the gzeira. The houses are all Merutzif, you don't make the gzeira. Now the backyards aren't all Merutzif. So maybe you should make a gzeira. My backyard to my friend's backyard. So that's what the person makes. The Shaila, how you look at the backyard, is it part of the house or is it not part of the house? I remember Tab's son once spoke here, Moshe Tab, and he said it as a joke. He said that someone became a Rav in the city, and he gets his first Shaila, and he doesn't know what to do. His first Shaila, he's all nervous. He pulls out his days or Chavis, where his Shaila come from. And the lady says, Rabbi, I want to know if my porch has a din like my house or not like my house. So he asks her, you might have to come in there. There's no difference. So she says, because we keep kosher in the home. And I want to know if the porch is considered the home or not. That's what he said. So he was saying it as a joke, but the truth is, the place can speak about it. Is the porch considered the home or not? Like you were saying, there's also a shada b'chalal, is the porch considered the home or not? There is. Here you have an afkamina if the porch is considered the home or not. If you're allowed to sweep on your porch in a bungalow colony or in a cottage, where a lot of them aren't Merutzif. So that's the heter today to sweep in our houses, and there's no issue of muktzah, and there's no issue of a shvili gumois, and no issue of muktzah.
Is this like an example of a halacha that evolved over time, with the changing, because we don't have, floors like we used to, and because the Ramah is pretty clear, right?
Yes, that's why the Baruch Lichtenstein says. That's why the Baruch Lichtenstein says the reason for the Issa Merutzif is a Gzeira of any Merutzif. We'll see soon. The Baruch Lichtenstein speaks out over here in Mefurish that the reason why they asked the Merutzif by Kibud was a Gzeira of any Merutzif. You're right. If they were just asked to sweep, then you can't go ahead and say today's mutter sweep. Even though you say the reason why they asked the sweep was because of a shvili gumois. We'll see soon that we have here in Seif Gimel. It's a very important point they brought up. In the Seif Gimel we see over here, we'll get to it soon. Let's speak it out now. Says Seif Gimel, Ein sochen et zakaka, v'loy medichin oisa afilu merutzif. Sochen et zakaka means you can't smear anything on the ground. Medichin means to wash it, to pour water and to wash the whole floor. So now we spoke about mechaber, to sweep. Washing the floor, says the mechaber in Seif Gimel, is also afilu merutzif. Now he doesn't say, Mishmur doesn't say over here because if you look at Seif Kan Yud Zayin, afilu merutzif, because we not after she'eni merutzif. Mishmur Seif Kan Yud Zayin. For how the hit of the Seif Beis the Indian kibud, for the Gaza came from the kibud to Yesed double nachatz me'adacha. Right? He's asking the Mechaber. The Mechaber in Seif Beis says that by Merutzef you're allowed to sweep. Here in Seif Gimel says the Mechaber you're not allowed to wash the floor by Merutzef. Why not? The same way you're allowed to sweep the floor by Merutzef, why can't you wash the floor by Merutzef? So here the Mechaber says that Zera Atu.
A schita.
No, that's Schita. That's Schita soon. No issue with Schita yet. That's pouring water on. So why did the Mechaber say in Seif Gimel that Sicha and Hadacha is awesome? The Mechaber himself said in Seif Beis that Kibur is Mutter by Merutzef. And we don't make a Gzeira Atu Ein Merutzef. So why in Seif Gimel, all of a sudden the Mechaber says that it's Asr? Says the Mishnah Berurah, the Chiluk is that Hadacha, to wash the floor, wasn't so necessary. Different Chazal said, you know what? Just Asr it. Just Asr it. Here, the Ramah will be asking to the Mechaber that we just Asr it. We Asr it, and we're not going to say the reason is Atu, and therefore when there's no Atu, we're not Asr it. Right? But they just Asr it, period. So here a lot of places say, that if you have, even though it's color ear is Merutzef, the whole city has tiled floors, still to wash a floor they're going to Asr. To go ahead and wash a floor, Medichin is Asr, because here we don't say the reason is only because of Atu, and therefore when there's no Atu, we're not going to Asr anymore. Here they won't say that. Some person will argue. Some person will say no, the whole reason was only Atu, and therefore today where everything is tiled with mutter.
So how do we pass it on that?
Most of the places say that to wash floors on Shabbos should not be done. Unless it's very sticky and it's dirty and you can't. It's time to wash floors on Shabbos. Person not to wash.
But if there's a spill in a particular...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. There's still a certain place for sure that clean it up. There's no issur, and if it couldn't have this mistake, I'm not sure why. It says it's also to wash floors. No, it's to wash. No, it's to wash the floor. No, it's to wash...
Worried about schita.
Schita is something else. We get the schita soon. No, there's no problem with washing malabim. It's only clothing.
Why not? There's other things that are washed are
clothing only.
Clothing.
Only clothing is malabim.
We worry about malabim on
only on clothing. Only on clothing is issur malabim. There's no issur malabim. You're allowed to wash your glasses on Shabbos. You're allowed to wash the table down on Shabbos. No issur malabim. Why is the table different than the floor?
Right.
The answer is because malabim is only clothing.
But it's nothing to do with Libra in terms of turning it wide.
No shakis.
Nothing like that.
Nothing to do with that.
The original
only clothing. Only clothing is issur malabim. On salads, there's no issur malabim. How could you wash the dishes on Shabbos? Ask anybody who says that washing the floor is an issur of washing. Why is the floor different than your dishes? You're allowed to wash the dishes on Shabbos if you need them, right? No issur of Libra on washing dishes. Anything solid, there's no issur malabim. Malabim is only on clothing. Washing the floor comes into this issur, a whole different issur. Of medichin as a karka, a whole different issur, because of any merutzef. But after washing the floor itself, there's no issur.
You have again the same two ideas of mezes upper and mashragumas, or only mashragumas now?
No, you have both. But medichin as a karka, they asked it because of these two problems. So we don't have a problem with
mezes upper applies also to
medichin. Yeah.
Medichin also.
Yeah.
So that would be it's the same shayla.
The same shayla as kibud.
Right.
But since medichin
is there the mechaber goes
right,
zero atu, he holds by the zero atu.
Right,
but since we anyways don't hold of the zero atu today.
Right. No, so that's the question. That's the question. If maybe for medichin, we answer it no matter what. We answer it across the board because if the mechaber answers it also. So maybe everyone holds we answer across the board without any atari.
But the svara is the same.
Yeah.
You see in Yudzayin. Yudzayin says the same.
Right, but in Yudzayin he says there's a gzer atu when there's no atu will be mekel. But medichin we answer even if there's no atu.
So that means that a person wants to make his floor nice. We're not talking about clearing a spill. We're talking about now.
Right. Someone wants to go ahead and try the floor on Shabbos.
I want to wash my floor on Shabbos.
Yeah, that's most of the places are going to ask it. Most of the places are going to ask it not because of libun. Most of the places are going to ask it because that is going into the shaila of medichin, And then, even though everything is merutziv,
and you don't have zero.
Right, it doesn't make a difference. We asked it. Right, we asked it because.
But it's still
there. Still is mutter to wash.
I mean, the oil's still on the floor. We have
yeah. You're allowed to wash it. You're allowed to clean it up on Shabbos. A spill, a sticky, anything like that, and not just that. If you have a simcha in the house or in the shul, and the whole floor is all dirty and sticky, then most of the places are going to say you're allowed to go ahead and wash it down, the whole floor. The whole floor is mutter to wash down on Shabbos.
But how can you wash a floor without schita?
Okay, so we'll get to that. The schita is a problem. Schita will be an issue. How are you going to wash it? You do sponge, you have no schita. So, the sponge, right?
But sponge is
no, sponge is a rubber thing.
No, sponge is a rubber thing.
Yeah, without the cloth around it.
Right.
Yeah, for schita, you have other issues. Schita, there won't be heter. So soon that schita is a problem. Fine. So then the Ramah says weiter. For me, I the akam mutter, through a guy, it's mutter to go ahead and let him sweep. Says the Magen Avraham here. Why? I the akam mutter, v'yam shashleim ha'oiser, afloi the akam ala shenag v'lahakil, v'damei the kanaf oser ein sham, knaf soon is something that breaks when you sweep. Kosiv, this is very important, Magen Avraham. Kosiv Seif, afilu yesh b'bayis klipe agoizim. Even if you have in the house shells of nuts, the muktzim heim, mutter, the chavdam, the havaler, the day, kegrav shel rei. That goes to come out anytime we sweep in our house today, have heter with Magen Avraham, that becomes a grav shel rei. But the Magen Avraham does bring down a heter through a goy. What's the heter through a goy? If you look in the Mishnah Berurah Sif Kohen Yud, it's a very famous shal, we spoke about it a few times already. The akka mutter, haina fuluvish eine merutzif. Even if it's not merutzif, Sif Kohen Yud, even though it's not merutzif, it's mutter. Why? The guy has in mind only to clean the house. For after psik ratio in nagumais, even if it's going to be a psik ratio, mutter ide ein Yehudi, why the Amira la ein Yehudi like kaptinon kulihai. Amira la akam when are makbid so much on a psik ratio. We already had water once that there's no psik ratio by a guy. If a guy does something and there's a psik ratio, something else happens, there's a lot of coolers for that. So someone left his refrigerator light on Shabbos and he needs his food from the refrigerator. You're allowed to tell a guy first to open the refrigerator even though you know for sure the light's going to go on because it's only a psik ratio. It's a mischav, it's a psik ratio by a guy, we are mech. Okay, it says the more weiter. V'chein ha'idei beged or matlis or knaf avis hakalim to sweep with a cloth or knaf avis which is a brush. Also, it is mutter. Because if you're not going to be mashper gumais, anyway, it's mutter. But also says the chabed habegodim, ayidem chabdais or asuyim miksamim shleishtabru kismeim. They used to have brushes that had little bristles, and those bristles were soft. Every time you would brush the clothing, some of the bristles would fall off. So you're breaking it. So Mishnah Berurah says over here that the reason is, if you look in the Magen Avraham here, Shlei Shabru, Bavada Afiluhem Nishbarim Leki Issa Deraisa, Asam Deraisa, Afilu Hachi Asa Bepsikresha. Lefi Zeh, Asa Lechabed Afilu Bemerutzif, El Em Kemishal tomorrow, V'loika Oisin Asum Anpe Ilan Aymash Shavti Sif Aleph. So here he says, you go ahead and you want to brush clothing, and the brush is a soft brittles, and what's going to happen is, while you're brushing it, the brittles are going to break off, the bristles are going to break off, and then you're going to ruin the kli. It's also because you're breaking the bristles of the brush.
It doesn't mean it's elaborate.
Huh?
It doesn't mean that you clean your coat.
It doesn't mean it's cleaning your coat.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how it's mutter. It's lying on top of the coat. It's not in. You got to clean something off. Yeah, dust. You got to clean off. Dust. You got to clean dust. But something that's in the clothing, that's a problem taking off. So that's mutter. So here the problem is the bristles that break while you're cleaning. But some person they want to say, therefore today you can't use a broom. Otherwise, most of the brooms today that we have, the bristles are not breaking, and you can sweep many, many times, and nothing's going to fall out. Don't forget, it has to be a situation. In order for it to be us, it has to be a situation. Any mischaven is mutter. So even for that reason, that it's going to break, we don't have that reason today. Today, brushes are all strong and they don't break. If you look in that Mishnah Berurah, that halacha, the Yesh Machmir and Philip Berutzif, I'm not going to go through the whole thing now, but it goes through the whole thing, and you see when you finish learning that halacha, the only reason that it comes out that maybe it's usher is because if you look over here, look at the halacha, like 2-3 lines before the end. Hayotze mikol zeh. See it? Hayotze mikol zeh.
What's the Divrei Masal?
The Yesh Machmir, the long one.
Oh, the one that we were talking before?
Yeah. He had Hayotze mikol zeh. It's 4 words from the left side. Hayotze mikol zeh.
Where's which one?
This one.
Yeah.
Hayotze mikol zeh.
It's almost 3 lines before.
The dot somewhere. Hayotze mikol zeh.
Hayotze mikol zeh.
Yeah, it's important to see this. The im kol patei ir kol panim rubam ritzafim bekroshem or beprat in the schabei the bayis gamkim of Shabbos v'roitz atzim l'chabei the bayis ba'anfei tomorrow arakim v'yivash on the kohen brushed v'vadei ein lahachmir. Why ein lahachmir? First of all the houses are merutzif, and second of all, it's a brush that the bristles won't break when you're cleaning it.
Bashed.
The Seif is called Shabbos Mashal the Bevarshed, which is a brush muta fulu be'enem rutzif, shemash bevarshed the knaf avis. Okay, that's on the day to us. Uba anfe illa Shabbos banenu eina het barum kolkach. Why? Mishum kashash shviris hakismim for shemoneh-esrei for a mo. Ukamaka misha mekel bezeh elim chas miyodai to kama achrenim afakfikim al zeh. So the halacha comes out that all houses are merutzif. Ein lahachmir, there's no reason to be machmir. The only tzad to be machmir, he says, is if the brush is going to break, which doesn't happen today. So basically today, it's mutter l'chatchila to go ahead and sweep the house on Shabbos.
And the condition that it was clean before Shabbos also applies.
That's only because of Zerot and Emerutziv. So our houses for sure are always clean before Shabbos. Right? Our houses always, you come Shabbos, floors are swept. The sweeping on Shabbos is after the Suda. So sweeping after the Suda, it's very sweeping before Shabbos. So there's no issue today at all to sweep your house. Okay. Sif Gimel. Ein Sachen es a Karka, to let Medichin Oisef Tulhum Rutzef. You're not allowed to
wash.
Smear.
It's already.
Yeah,
something is with water, no?
Yeah, no, something is more. Something is making it shine. Yeah, something is smearing it. So ein Sachen es a Karka, when Medichin Oisef Tulhum Rutzef, it's also to do it even though it is tiled. So if you look in the Mogen Avram here, Ein Sachin, Vei Noivchin HaKarka, that's exactly what there was, to make it look nice. The reason is that the Dvorim Eilu Ein Behem Tzorech Kol Kach Hamoy B'Kibud. Since it wasn't as necessary as Kibud, therefore we asked it to do it on Shabbos. So therefore, today even, to go ahead and shine the floor on Shabbos, most of the places are going to say it's awesome. Because there they will never make one. Even though today most of the houses are tiled, doesn't make a difference.
So a very practical question that comes up in the winter in Canada. If someone comes into your house with boots, there's some salt marks on the floor.
Right.
Can you go over it with your socks?
What do you mean?
You know how, yeah. So you have guests and you have, right? So can you take your, can you walk on it with your socks?
Clean it, why not?
And
clean it for sure, 100%. There's no issue.
Not even with socks. You can clean it.
I'm wondering if, like on a hardwood floor, do you get into this problem of sachin because you're shining it?
No, it's not shining.
You wouldn't.
No, it's taking off the dirt. You're taking off the dirt, you're not shining it. Because you take off the dirt and the shine comes out. That was shined before. You're not using any material to shine the floor.
Right. And
It's not what's shining it.
to throw water on it. And
Also, it's
also the...
yeah, if there's no problem with
If you avoid the schita,
avoid the schita, there's no problem. Now, we'll see soon. I mean, I'd like to see here the Mishnah Brewer over here. Seif Kotin did Zayin. We saw the beginning of it before. And it says V'da, middle, it says V'da, da dochas mitzvahs hakroshim shenihagi ka'ayoyin yesh mizeh oid isur lashas b'shabbos milvad hadocha v'tzorach lezeh shriyas aluntis. You have to go ahead and make a towel wet. B'mayim. K'yidua, v'yesh mizeh mishum kibus. To make the towel wet is a problem of kibbutz. Now, what it means here is that in Siman Beis, there's a halacha of shuyasa izehu kibbusa. You don't take any clothing and soak it in water, because that's called kibbutz, that's called washing. Now, the truth is that that's only an aluntis, a towel that you use for, you clean it to use it for yourself. Shmatis that we have today, there's no shuyasa izehu kibbusa. Because you don't clean shmatas because you want to use them. Shmatas are dirty, they're meant to clean up dirt. So at shmatas, you won't say when I'm cleaning up water from the ground, from the floor, it's called derech lichlach. It's most of the water we have today, when you're cleaning it up, it's already dirty. So if you go ahead and you pour water on the floor, and then you wipe it up with a shmata, there's no shuyasa derech kibusa. But there's dirty water already, because it's from the floor. If you want to go ahead and put it on the water and soak it in water, then wash the floor, then maybe it is of shuyasa derech kibusa. But if you're going ahead and you're pouring the water on the floor and you're wiping it up with a shmata, there's no shuyasa derech kibusa, so you have nothing to worry about. They get in the clothing, the shmata wet. Schit is another issue. If it gets very wet, the problem is schit. Or if you soak it in water and you want to squeeze it out to wipe the floor, that you can't do. But you definitely have to pour water on the floor, which is the best eitzah. Pour water on the floor, and then take a shmata and wipe it off afterwards. And you have to worry about schita. Because usually, unless it's soaking wet. But you don't have to worry about schita. So we have to for floors, washing floors. Okay, $6. Also, the tzadid chavis al haaretz, you're not allowed to straighten a barrel on the ground. Kimitzu kveda, it's very heavy. Yavai the hashvai is gumois vadai, have a situation. You're going to end up filling up holes. And therefore, it's a vadai, it's a situation, you can end up doing ashuei gumois. Says the Magen Avram, Zayin, also the tzadid, v'lo yachriach chavius v'yishbar temenu, you shouldn't tear it to its side to pour from it. Ala magbia oisem min haaretz, v'sheifech. The imloitein, machbirhu min haaretz, you end up digging from the ground. As you're tilting it, you end up pushing it into the ground and digging, therefore it's also on Shabbos.
So once again on the top floor wouldn't be an issue.
Top floor will not be an issue. No, on top floor it's water. Here there's no gzeira. Kibbutz there was a gzeira. Here there's no gzeira. So if you look here in the Mishnah Brewer 6 part in your test, Hayre chavis alot, hayre chavis malaya, v'chen le'achriya chavis v'yishbar temenu el magbia min haaretz. The Sefer says, "Maloitein yachbid min haaretz bevadai." It's a heavy thing, and if you're tilting it on the ground, you end up digging into the ground. V'afshem akaltahu v'gam malach tzricha l'gufahi v'gam chayfik l'achayadu afa b'kein osam medivrei Seif mitzvah osam midirabbanan. So here, this shaila comes up a lot. We have coverings today, but the shaila comes up a lot when you're talking in the country and you have lawn furniture, you're moving around. This is a very common shaila, and so to go ahead and to Schlep lawn furniture, it's very heavy on Shabbos, is awesome. Because it'll be chayfer guma. So you're not allowed to do that on Shabbos. You want to move it, you pick it up, and then you move it and you put it back down. Now when you put it back down, it may end up going into the ground and being chayfer guma. So charitz, not a charitz, but it's chayfer guma. You're putting it in. So there, most of the places say, it's not really called the chayfer guma. Chayfer guma means you're digging a hole, taking out the earth. Here, I'm not taking out the earth, I'm sticking something into the ground. It's sticking something into the ground called chayfer guma or not. So, the place can basically say, you're allowed to move it and put it down and leave it there. To go ahead and push it into the ground, that may be awesome. The more common shiloh, for the chayfer, the more common shiloh is when you take chairs. You take a chair and you sit down and the chair goes into the earth. And the full leg is going to the earth. So they also, most of the places are matter to sit down on a chair even though the legs may go into the earth. What they do say is, if you push it in a way that you want it to stand still and not to move, that may be awesome. Then you're ready to go ahead, and it's much worse. But just to stick it into the ground, to put it down and to sit down on it, that already is mutter. But schlepping is no different than the chavis over here. Even though it's a mekalkal, it's kalachayad, doesn't make a difference. Once you're being chayfer guma, once you're making a hole or a charitz, it's aser medivrei sefer.
So that would apply. So anytime you drag that lawn chair on the grass or anything,
dragging a lawn chair on the grass is a problem.
Lawn chair would be a problem.
Yeah, for sure. It's a charitz. Dragging a lawn chair on, unfortunately, I see it a lot. Chairs and furniture, a table. You want to move it over. Alright, so you're not allowed to drag it. It's a situation. It's a heavy table. A chair may not be a situation. A chair may be lighter. But a table is a situation. A heavy table is a situation. You're stuffing it. It's definitely going to make a charitz. And that for sure is awesome.
Is it applicable today? People does these things today?
Of course. In the country, people do all the time.
Oh, in the country. Not in the city.
People, and also in the backyard.
You need to have a kind of stones there if you have a furniture, because otherwise it's going to be mud, and it's going to be everything goes like dirty and stink.
That's one case where you don't have it. Okay, if you look at the Siman Chaf, in the Mishnah Berurah, the kivit, how it's the ratio, what's the limit? The idea at tzidut, by moving it on the side, gufa nasa kaka chalaka b'lei gumos. You smooth it out, make sure, and there's no holes there. Tessie says a different reason there. Not because it's a particular ratio you're going to make gumos, but what's the issue? Because you may end up going ahead and being mashvei gumos. That should be easy to put it straight. So this is also a very common challenge. A lot of times you slap a heavy table on Shabbos, even though you're not making a charitz. But what's the zera? What's the problem? When you put it down, it's a shaking. So what do you do when it's shaking? You smooth it out the ground. That's a real issue. That's a real issue. So some folks want to be machmer. The reason why the Mishnah Berurah gives over here is because you may end up saying yishkach v'yavel hashbas gumas and miskaven. That is, you have to take a shul. Right? You slip a table and it's not smooth. You smooth it out. You kick your dirt over there, and doing that is an issa deraisa. To go ahead and kick with your foot to be mashva the ground, the table should sit straight. That's a real issa deraisa. Even though you don't plan on planting there, and it's not a place that people plant, v'tzuroi lachroish, it's an issa deraisa. So if you're in Mekel to move the table, you have to be very, very careful, not to straighten out any dirt, which is a very common thing.
And if it's got some sort of a dirt that's not right for planting at all?
Yeah, it's not right for planting, it's fine. But usually most earth Most dirt is very compliant, you know.
The crushed stones or
No, that's not a problem. No, if you have those stones, that's not a problem. No, because you can't plant. That's not the mutter. If you have those, they have in a lot of places. You have those stones they put out, and you want to slap something, you can slap it even. What are you doing? You're just moving. It's still the muktzah. Maybe the stones are muktzah. That's still the muktzah and that's how the time dover heter. Then it's mutter. There is no issue. The only issue is a place that's royal lachraj. A place that's royal. Yeah, a lot of parks. They have the kids play there. Gravel is not a problem. Gravel is not royal lecharisha. Yeah, it's true. Any place not royal lecharisha, there's no issue. Yeah, but I'm sorry. In the bottom colonies, they have most of the places are just regular dirt. They have these big heavy. The benches attached to it. There's tables, picnic tables, right? Picnic tables. Those picnic tables are very, very dangerous to move on Shabbos.
But they usually sitting on the grass, not on the dirt itself.
Grass is also a problem.
have a problem with that.
People live there.
No, if you pull on the grass also.
But you could say sitting on it even is going to pick it up and down a bit.
That's not the problem. Sitting down.
The horse for
I know are not strong.
Those
Very not strong.
Yeah, those picnic tables, slapping them on Shabbos is a big issue. You just leave it where it is. Because you have to pick it up, and then usually when you put it down, unless it's gravel, but if it's dirt, it's a big problem.
3 or 4 guys.
So we said before, so you have those picnic tables, but in the middle there's the hole for the umbrella, right?
Right.
So we said before, it's okay with the umbrella, but now we have a different problem, right? If you put the umbrella in...
If you stick it to the ground, if you stick the umbrella to the ground, it's a problem. You cannot go ahead with Dafka and stick the umbrella into the ground. That's a problem. Yeah. To put it there, just leave it resting on it, and then the weight ends up pushing it down. Okay, that person not a makel. But to go ahead and stick the umbrella into the ground, that could be a problem. Yeah. Especially if you're doing it because you want it to hold. You should move it. Yeah, that's a problem. Then it finishes over where Shabbos kosher the mutter filled up shemoneh-esrei filled up segresho like gazu b'zebur mutzefas. Shabbos says that over here in this din we're not going to be geizer otum mutzefas, but we go to b'shasim and mitzaded lahachmir b'ayin sham mitzvah v'yizgim as kosher v'aydzeh. That even in a place where it's merutzif, maybe we also to move a barrel. The ma'aser we're not machmir on that, and therefore to move a table in makom that's merutzif, he could do it. Makom she'ein merutzif, you have to be careful. Okay, that's all for the Siman, I think. Next we could do Siman the Ches, shemoneh-esrei. Yeah, next we'll do Siman the Ches.
Is the papers for this, or...?
I'll check. I don't think they had. I'll check if they have Siman. If Siman is either, I'll have anything.
So what's the big picture plan? We want to do